Hey, DM Scotty back here with another video, and today I'm going to talk about EZD6 Karma and Hero Dice, okay, and how they work in the game. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about my philosophy of why I even had this rule in the game. One is because I didn't want heroes to be so vulnerable at the beginning of the game, right? It really sucks when you're on your when you make your hero, you're really excited to play your hero, and you're on your first caravan guarding tour or whatever, and a bandit shoots you, get a lucky shot, and one shots you immediately, right? And then you gotta like either they find somebody on the road to replace your character, and you have to either make another character or get it one, or they got to go to town and get a character, right? So with Karma and Hero Dice, it's unlikely that a hero will die immediately because you can spend that Karma on armor rolls and stuff, um, to help you survive. Okay, so hero dice and karma. So I like that. You're probably not going to die until at least halfway through the adventure. So yeah, so at least you won't immediately die, but at some point, hero's luck usually runs out, right? And then one or more of them die. So that happens. That's in fiction and movies and that kind of thing. But I kind of hate the thing where players can just die immediately just from bad luck, right? Or just good luck on the part of the game master. I got two crits, you're dead, or whatever. Um, so I like that. I like that aspect of the karma. Okay, and um, I wanted the characters to have a resource a meta currency that they could spend for luck. Okay, and um, karma and hero dice might seem kind of redundant, but they both do different things, and they're both important for different reasons. So, it, they're not redundant, right? You want both if you can have it. I think of hero dice as that last ditch effort to do to do something to try to pull it out, but you could still roll worse than you already did. Okay, so let me explain how karma and hero dice work if you're not familiar. So karma, you get karma chips, and you start with 3 at the beginning of the game. Now, what I do is I usually reset that from session to session so that people won't just hoard them, right? You want them to spend that karma. So you could have them hoard it and save it from session to session if you're a nice, I call rabble rouser. But if not, you can have it reset. It also makes the inclination where you get extra karma very nice because you're getting that extra karma every session start. So if you don't do that, if you don't keep the karma, they're not really to get full use of that inclination. So yeah, that's the intention of it, that the karma resets. Now you get awarded 3 karma to start. You get 1 hero die. Now you can get more karma by either if you have a nice role playing moment and the rabble rouser gives you a karma, that's pretty cool. Or the most common way to get karma is to fail rolls, because it really sucks when you fail a roll. In a game, it just sucks. And if you keep failing rolls, it just sucks even more. But if you get that karma, it's kind of like a band-aid on the boo-boo, right? It doesn't feel so bad that you lost because you got that luck to bank later. And eventually, if you just keep failing rolls, you're going to bank enough karma that you can succeed at a roll, right? You're not just going to roll bad for the whole adventure because you're banking karma, which will allow you to add to your rolls. So karma works. If you know EZD6, you spend 1 karma per pip on the die. So if you roll a 3, spend a karma, that's a 4, right? So that's pretty awesome. So karma can be used on almost any roll in the game. It just can't be used on magic and miracles because those are mini games that have their own difficulties, and if you added that into it, it would kind of skew the system. I like the system being more unpredictable for those things. So karma is out of the equation for those. But everything else, it's in there for. So it's in there for when you attack, you can add it to your roll. When you roll your armor save, you can add it to your roll. When you roll a miraculous save, you can add it to your roll. So all these rolls, you can add it to. Now, there is one roll that you can't add it to. Well, I've talked about magic, but it's not clear in the book. But your magic resistance is part of the whole game of magic, right? And you can't add karma to your magic resistance because then a spellcaster would never get a spell off on the party, right? Or a monster that uses an innate magic would never get a spell off. So or ability off. So what happens is, and remember too, because you have to roll the resistance to whatever's going to use magic on you before they roll, right? Before they decide on how many dice they're going to use. So that means that it's easy to remember because you're pre-rolling the dice for the rabble rouser to decide how many magical power level dice to use on you, right? And so if you did it before the fact, you'd be like, well, you don't know you don't know what number you would need to resist, right? Because I may roll crappy and, you may have spent all this karma on that roll and you didn't need to. So that's an easy way to remember that you can't use karma on the resistance because the resistance roll comes before the attack roll, where every other roll is different. If you're meleeing or whatever or shooting, missile weapons, it's all the attack comes first. Heroes get armor saves, monsters don't. They just have strikes. Okay, so that's how you would that's how you use that. Okay, but everything else you can use it on. Now, except a 1. Okay, if you roll a 1 on the d6, you can't use karma to adjust it, and that's where the hero die comes in. The hero die allows you to re-roll any die, including a 1 rolled in magic, which normally fails a miracle or a spell, right? So that hero die is important, particularly to people casting divine magic or miracles or spells, because that allows you to re-roll. And you can spend 5 karma to regain the hero die, which, may be something you might want to do if you're a conjurer or if you cast miracles. Okay. Now, one other thing that the karma is nice for is critical strikes. Okay, because in EZD6, as you know, every weapon does 1 strike of damage. If you rolled a hit, you do 1 strike of damage. Okay. Now, if you roll a crit and confirm it, you can keep rolling. So, okay, so say I attack, right? And I roll a 6, okay? I pick up 1 die if I had boons or I rolled multiple dice from boons. You don't use those boons or anything. You just roll 1 die to confirm the crit. And if you get another 6, you confirm that crit. Now, monsters are going to rarely crit because it's hard to roll another 6. It can happen, but monsters usually don't crit that often, right? Where heroes can crit like crazy because if you roll a 6, that's 1 strike, and then you roll to confirm, but you get a 5, well, I didn't get it, but you spend a karma on it. That makes that a 6. You've done 2 strikes, and you get to roll again. So say you roll a 4, right? I didn't get the 6. But if you spend 2 karma, you can make that a 6. And now you've got another one you roll again. So you can get a crit chain. If you got enough karma, you can get a crit chain going, that's deadly. That's really deadly. So where monsters don't have that. Monsters and enemies don't have that kind of automatic luck that the heroes have, right? Now, if you fail a confirmed crit, that doesn't count as a failed roll because that's an extraneous roll that you're doing to confirm the crit. It's not your normal roll like to hit or a check or an armor save or miraculous save or something like that. It is an extra roll. So you don't get karma from a failed critical roll. You just don't do the critical, right? Now, um, another cool thing about it is I like to represent karma at the table, right? And here I'm going to show you what I often use. It's these plastic kind of amber crystals, right? And these are really awesome counters to have at the table. I love that tactile thing where you can look down and say, "Oh, I have a pile of 6 karma." This is awesome. And as you use it and lose it, the pile gets smaller. So it's not just a number on a sheet. It's like a physical thing in front of you. And there's something psychological about that. When you get a pile or you're like low on the pile, there's something fun and psychological about that. And tactile, getting the karma from the bank or putting the karma back in the bank is just really fun. You can use all kinds of counters for karma. I love these crystals. You can use these. These are kind of dragon gold coins you can get. These are great for fantasy games. You can use those and so forth. So yeah, and I'll have the links to these kind of markers below the video. So if you want to actually help me out a little bit and go to my Amazon, I'll have the links there for you. Now, another thing for the hero dice or just the dice for doing the game is we actually have official EZD6 dice, and these are them. Now, the picture here, we call these Goo Glow, right? Hanker and I call them Goo Glow. And these are really cool. They're handcrafted. This is the glow in the dark. This is actually glowing in the dark right here. And you can see the moss in it. I really like that moss floating around in the die. So really cool. But the dice have 2 states, right? They have the glow in the dark state, but they're also reactive to black light. So look at that. Isn't that cool? And look, you can see the moss even better in there with the black light. And the numbers are reactive to black light too. So they're easier to read in black, or not easier, but it's white. But you can read them in black light. They glow in black light. So it's really cool. There's like 2 states of the dice, which is really cool. Now the dice are on CrowdMade. If you go to Runehammer CrowdMade or EZD6.com, you can get the link to go get these goo dice. They're a limited supply, so once we run out, we run out. So if you want to pick some of those up, you could use these for your rolling dice for the game or for the hero dice, because they're unique. So that's one nice thing. Now, what I like to do with the hero dice is make them different from the dice you're going to roll. Okay, so here I've got one die that has actually the pips on it, and the hero die that has the number. So I like that because they're very different looking dice, and I like to have like a pile of the same dice, like a bank that the players can get the hero die from and return it when they're done. Okay, so that makes, I like to have the hero dice the same, and of course the other dice that you use in the game the same too. But I like having that difference. Here's another example, and I'll have all these links below the video of the 2 different dice. So you got your regular rolling dice, and you got your hero die. And the hero die you put in front of you, like the token. So it's very tactile too. You've got it. It's not just a mark on a sheet. You've got it right in front of you, ready to roll. It's just cool. Now, this isn't part of hero dice or karma, but I wanted to also show you these hearts that I like to use in a game. And these are just little plastic hearts. And since each character really only has 3 strikes, except, only has 3 strikes, then you're going to, it's easy to have enough of these hearts. It's not like hit points where you need 300, you need 100 hearts or something. You've only got 3 strikes, so it's easy. And then when those strikes go away, it's it's really like, oh crap, it's visual. You're seeing in front of you, that first heart go away. It's like, oh, I have 2 strikes left and I'm dead. And when that other one, you lose that other one, you got 1 strike left. You have one chance to, not lose that heart. That's a single heart sitting in front of you. You really want to try to heal yourself, right? So I love these little tokens that you can use for the games. I got all the links below the video. If you have any questions about Karma or Hero Dice, just shoot me a question below. But I think that covers it. Basically, it's just that the Karma, 1 Karma per pip. You can't use it on magic rolls, including magic resistance rolls. Or, this is important too, since there's a couple of things that I have changed about the Seer. One of them is not in the book. One of them is that the sorry about that. The precognition. I'm sorry. The precognition is counted as magic, so you can't use Karma on precognition, but you can use your hero die. Okay, just like any magical ability. And that's important to remember. And you can only use it once. It's a free action. The precognition is now a free action, so you can only use it once per round, right? It's still very powerful. It's still nice to have for the Seer, but you can't just run out there and then kill everything when you roll your 3s, and you can't use Karma on those 3s, unlike your normal armor save, right? So there is that. Yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up. Those are some changes that I've done to the Seer with that ability, because it was never intended to be excuse me, as dangerous as it turned out to be, right? It was intended that the Seer was more of a pacifist, but it could be kind of manipulated where the Seer runs out there, takes all the hits, gets really lucky on their rolls, and kills everything because the thing takes a strike from missing the Seer, right? If the Seer makes the roll. But a couple things make it more in line and less dangerous. One is that it's still considered magic, so you cannot use Karma on it. And the other one is that it's your free action for your turn. So you can only do it once until your turn comes back around again, one time. So keep that in mind. So I hope this answers some questions about Karma and Hero Dice if you had any. And I'll see you guys next time on more talking about EZD6, all right? You guys have fun playing, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.